blood pressure. Why don't we move on to our next story? The Alamo Drafthouse files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So we all know that because of the coronavirus, movie theaters were hit particularly hard, having to close down due to lockdown restrictions, social distancing, all that stuff. And a lot of theaters are in big trouble because of this. And Alamo Drafthouse, unfortunately, is one of those. So for those of you who don't know, have you ever been to an Alamo Drafthouse, Vader?
No.
So Alamo Drafthouse is like this famous like movie theater in Texas that kind of popularized in theater dining. Like I think they were one of the first theaters to actually like offer like full meals at your seat, like with waiters and stuff. And the food there is great. You could drink alcohol. It was one of the first theaters in America that allowed you to drink alcohol while watching a movie. And they were very fan centric. Like they would do a lot of like fan centric events, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 type stuff, where you could watch like these like very old bizarre movies and like yell shit at the screen, like midnight movie type stuff. And every time I visited Austin, Texas, I'd always go to the original Alamo Draft House just to watch a movie and get the experience of going to the Alamo Draft House. It's one of my favorite theater experiences that I've ever had. And they've recently they were expanding. They were building these like fancier theaters around the state, and now it's coming back to bite them in the butt a little bit. Texas-based exhibitor Alamo Draft House, a favorite amongst cinephiles for its dine-in service and fan-centric approach, has filed for Chapter 11. The bankruptcy filing is part of an asset purchase agreement with Altamont Capital Partners, a previous investor in the company, as well as affiliates for their new backer, Fortress Investment Group. Operations will continue as normal, and the Chapter 11 process and sale will reportedly give the chain the capital it needs to continue operating as it emerges from the public health crisis that left many of its locations closed for months. The agreement also involves the sale of substantially all of its assets across its roughly 40 locations. It will close down a few underperforming locations and restructure its lease obligations. One such place, according to their website, is the Ritz Cinema, which it began operating from 2007 in the company's home base of Austin. Founder Tim League will remain involved and is among the lender group buying the assets. So Vader, what do you think about theater going in the post-age of Corona?
I love going to the theater. There's no comparing what you can do at home, even with your fancy sound systems and big TVs, to what it is sitting in your comfy chair in the theater with your giant screen and the massive surround sound systems. And it's just, some movies are just meant to be seen at a theater. And I'm not saying that you have to watch every movie that way, but it's just, if you ask me if I'd rather go watch this movie in the theater or watch it at home, at least for the first time, I'm going to tell you the theater probably every single time. And so when theaters close down, especially now because of all this Corona nonsense and everything, it makes me sad. It does. And my wife and I, we've tried to go to the theater as much as we can. We don't have a lot of time to do it, but we've managed to go to 5 or 6 movies in the last 6 months or so. And even if it's on a dollar night, like we went and watched 16 Candles on retro movie night over there. And, but we spent $20 on popcorn and a drink, and it was fun. We had a great time. So,
yeah, I've always loved going to the theater. There's nothing that replaces the theater experience when you see like an amazing movie and the theater's packed and everyone's like reacting to it at the same time. Like it's such an addictive feeling. I can remember so many times, like the first time I saw The Matrix in a movie theater, and everyone was just like freaking out every time the special effects happened. A movie like Taken, I don't know if you remember, that movie, but when I saw it in the theater, there was a certain point where everyone realized that this movie was badass. Like in the theater, like you could feel it. Everyone just came to the realization at the same moment, and they were like, oh, and like they were like on board with that movie from until the very end. That when I went and saw Avengers of Infinity War in the theater, like it was packed. There was not a single empty seat in the theater. that experience made watching that movie so much better. Like, it was a good movie to begin with, but just the experience of watching it with other people.
I always I always kind of go back, I'll just say I go back to when I was 7 years old. And my earliest movie memory is when my mom and dad took me to the movie theater to see Star Wars, and I can vividly remember the opening sequence of the Corvette being chased by the Star Destroyer with that massive long with the music and the choo 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 and the ship flying in over the top of the camera, and you're like, holy crap, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. You can't get that experience at home.
Yeah.
That one scene, that 1 minute of of movie time turned me into a movie nerd for my entire life. I don't think that would have happened if I had watched that on my TV at home. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just there's something special about going to a theater to watch a movie. So
Yeah. And the last time I think I was in a theater was with you and Alex when we went to go
yeah,
see Tenet,
yeah,
which was like 6 months ago. It's like
yeah.
a long time ago. And I'm kind of sad that theaters are going through this manufactured crisis because it's something that you could easily fix. I think in terms of just having assigned seating, so like there's buffer areas between people, so you're 6 feet apart. And I mean, restaurants let people sit down and eat, so why can't movie theaters? Like it just doesn't make sense. And there should be some type of like lease forgiveness thing because like through no fault of their own they
Government
have to shut
bailout.
down, but they still got to pay rent. I mean, give me a break, you know.
I don't know. I feel like there will be enough movie theaters to survive because we're starting to come out of this a little bit day by day here, but the industry is going to be changed. It's going to be a little bit different now, and
Well, the
it,
interesting thing about the Alamo is that it's not entirely a first run movie
right.
theater. It shows older movies and things like that. In fact, a lot of the theaters that remained open, like Galaxy Theaters out here, they've been relying on re-releases because there are no new releases coming out to try
I've
to get people in there.
I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark twice for $1 at our theater, and I love it. It's so much fun just to
Yeah,
go to watch some of those old movies that I was a kid that when they came out, and I would go to more movies like that whenever I get a chance.
yeah.
So
And the funny thing is, the dollar that you pay to go see a movie like that, the movie theater doesn't care about the ticket price because they actually don't get a whole lot of that, just regularly. They make all their money off of concessions. So if they get people in the door for $1 and then they spend $20 buying popcorn and soda, that's how they're staying afloat.
absolutely, it's like I told my wife, I go, because we're always good about going to the store and buying a dollar box of Milk Duds or something to stick in her purse. But and we still do that. But I still go and I make sure I buy that tub of popcorn that I eat, the top third of where all the butter is, and and get a drink. And it's like we'll spend $20 when we go in there, and $20 on 75 cents worth of product, and enjoy it. It's the experience for me, and like I said, the movie, some of these theaters that aren't going to make it, it's a sad thing. And
Yeah.
just go to the theater to watch these movies, especially the ones that are going to be King Kong versus Godzilla. Go to a theater to watch that movie.
Yeah. This month comes out at the end of the
Yeah,
month, right?
in a few weeks. Yeah, it's that's the perfect example of a movie that's made for the theater. You won't get the same experience watching that at home. You just won't.
That's very true.
So,
But so many people are just going to go with the convenience of watching it on HBO Max at home, especially if they have kids.
and it's I guess I don't know what to do. It is
Shame.
what it is.